in that position wrestled 3 grown men, 3 officers.
Maybe you can just advise me as for when was this document? So when was when was he examined for this?
The point is, as at the date of this incident, he was in this condition. That's the point of these medical documents. These are not just any documents, medical documents to confirm. That's why they were handed up. And these were handed up through Mr. Van Wyk, where he was cementing his argument. First of all, he denied that there was any scuffle. He denied that, secondly, that he was preventing ACC officers from entering that premises. Scuffle. That's why these documents were handed up to the court. And these were not, again, challenged.
Maybe also to assist him to follow, since he's asking, how did he sustain that condition or injury? Is it playing soccer?
Yes, Your Lordship. He indicated it was previously through playing soccer.
So it has nothing to do with what happened at the scene.
Well, I just wanted to know whether these pictures, because this scuffle was on the 27th of November 2019. I just wanted to know, when was this carried out?
It was prior to that. If maybe you are getting confused that it was as a result of the alleged scuffle which never took place.
No, that is not what I'm saying.
It was prior to that, in a soccer match, something to do with soccer. Officer, if you can just give me my documents. That was just for your attention. And even when these documents were given, they were not challenged. He was not questioned on them.
His evidence was not challenged, because that is not my duty.
I'm not saying you should explain. I'm just telling you what is on record. I'm not speculating, okay, Mr. Kanyangela. I'm telling you what is on record.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes.
And I'm following.
Is your evidence to say that you are not aware of this injury?
No, I'm not aware, my lord.
Yes.
Now, moving on. I'm sure you agree with me that if you say there was this scuffle where the second applicant, had to be apprehended and, brought down because he was obstructing officers, it brings in a sense of some kind of animosity, hostility, isn't it? When he was going to Hobabis, in fact, when he was taken by Chief Inspector Saron, it was a very cordial relationship that they had. Chief Inspector Saron even bought food for him. And Chief Inspector Saron indicated to him that it was when it's dark, he has a problem with his vision. So he even let him drive the vehicle.
I'm following.
Yes. And he released him and told him that the next morning he must report himself at the Hobabis Magistrate Court, which he did.
He was not released by Saron.
That's not what I said. I didn't say. I said he was released to go to the court. When he reached the court the next morning, Chief Inspector Saron was not there. He reported himself at the court. The case was called. He was released on warning by the court.
Yeah, I saw that he was released.
Yes. So the release I'm talking about, but
said that yes, he was covered with him. Otherwise, if there was no any scuffle, why should they arrest the person? They could not arrest him.
Okay, again now, then why is it that version that he even was moving in a cordial relationship with Chief Inspector Saron, that Chief Inspector Saron even bought him food, that Chief Inspector Saron even allowed him to drive the vehicle and allowed him, to go and report himself to the Hobabis Magistrate Court the next morning? Why wasn't that entire version challenged?
Mr. Saron gave a statement and he never mentioned all those things that you are just telling me.
Mr. Kanyangela, you're not answering my question or what I'm putting to you.
What I was testifying is what is in their statement.
Let's leave aside the statement.
Yes.
So if the statement is saying as such, then it means that what the applicant testified cannot be true. Isn't it?
That is not what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying if you are believing what is indicated in the statement of the three officers, that indeed there was a scuffle, there was an animosity, there was hostility, then it means what the applicant testified, that there was no scuffle, there was no animosity, there was no hostility. He drove with Chief Inspector Seron cordially, bought him food, even drove the vehicle, then it means that version is not true.
No, he is entitled to his defense.
Okay, so if he's entitled to his defense and you are saying that version cannot be true, my question to you as the lead investigator is, why wasn't that version challenged when he presented it?
I don't know why it was not challenged.
I'll tell you why it was not challenged. It's because it's not true. And if it is true that you did consult, as you indicated, and you did present your version as the respondent, then it would have been challenged in cross-examination. You have a comment?
I don't have a comment.
Yes, you will not have a comment. The court can just pay us, eh?
Yes.
Would you know why the affidavits of Mr. Hatukulipi and Mr. Shangala, as pertaining to the events of the Leonardville case, the alleged scuffle, that
I
they disputed?
never saw the affidavits.
You never even heard, you never let me finish. Mr. Kanyangela, as I indicated, I outlined the rules of engagement in the beginning.
I thought you are done with your
Yes,
question.
please allow me to finish, I'll allow you to finish also, to respond. So as I was saying, the affidavits of Mr. Hatukulipi and Mr. Shangala, they negate or they dispute that there was any scuffle. These were handed up. And even in cross-examination, they were not challenged. So if you are saying,
My Lord, I want to object to this part. The background that Mr. Hatukulipi and Mr. Saki Shangala were never called as witnesses. Thus, they could not be cross-examined. And we all know the rules of bail application. The affidavit speaks for themselves. It's the matter of the weight that will have to be attached, which will only be argued at the end of the state's or at the end of the application. So this witness will not be in any position, neither is it relevant, the questioning in that line.
okay, Your Lordship, I don't understand the objection of my learned colleague, but with due respect, he should let me finish what I'm saying, and then he can see whether there should be a valid objection.
Yes, I was still following where you were heading to.
May it please the court. And Your Lordship, just for the record, even if affidavits are handed up, I didn't say we're going, it doesn't mean that Mr. Hatukulipi and Mr. Shangal had to be called. I'm talking about Mr. Van Wyk, who was on the stand. He was not challenged on those affidavits because they were handed up through him to cement or to support his testimony about the events of that day.
Okay.
May it please the court.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kanyangela, before I was interrupted, as I was indicating, affidavits were handed up in support of Mr. Van Wyk's position.
Yes.
That he was not challenged on those to say that it is not true, even if affidavits were handed up, you know, they are saying untruths about what transpired on that day. He was not challenged on that. Not challenged because you realized, when I say you realized, yourselves as the respondents, that indeed what he's saying is true. So you cannot counter what he's saying. That's why he was not challenged on that. Do you have a comment?
I have a comment to say that, yes, I was not in court. And I cannot say it was not me to tell the prosecutors to challenge as such.
Sakanyangela, obviously you would not be present in court because that was not your time. It was
Yes.
the time for the applicant.
Yes,
But you were duly represented in court by your mouthpiece, the prosecutor, isn't it?
yes,
Yes. And you duly consulted with the prosecutor to outline what your position is, isn't it? Your position, your version.
yes,
Yes. Which according to procedure, your version has to be put to the applicant in cross-examination to challenge it.
that's correct.
Yes. So that argument of yours doesn't hold any water. You are represented. My lord, I see it's about 1:45. I was just about to move on to a new aspect. If we may just break for lunch.
All right. We'll break for lunch and resume at 2:20. Quarter Jones.